The image might be tough and scary, but these bikers say they're really angels of mercy, here on a mission to help. Today they're alerting drivers to this mobile enforcement camera car in Camden.
It's a trap. Look, what we're actually doing today is assisting them in their goal of achieving 100% compliance without penalties.
They say ticket targets are written into the Camden contract.
We got a copy of your contract.
You've got a target of 2.4 tickets an hour.
And they say that means traffic wardens are under pressure to issue more and more fines.
I'm not allowed to speak on this issue. Please contact the Camden Council. Thank you very much.
On what issue? Giving tickets out?
Camden Council has told the BBC there are no targets in their contract and that those hourly rates are there to help them deploy the right number of staff, although that hasn't deterred these campaigners.
That camera there, yeah, the little camera car?
There's nothing to suggest that the parking enforcers we've seen today were not playing by the rules. However, some traffic wardens that we have spoken to have told us they'll do anything to increase ticket numbers. Last September, we spoke to serving and former civil enforcement officers from Camden and Ealing. They told us the pressure to reach targets was so intense, they'd effectively make the evidence up.
Sometimes you have to go out and issue a dodgy ticket. They will leave blank pages in their pocketbook. They will issue before full observation time on a certain offences.
There's ways that people can constructively create PCNs.
Now that's a pretty shocking claim. So how do you constructively create parking tickets? Astonishingly, this traffic warden in a different borough is so disgusted by the dirty tactics, he's agreed to show us exactly how it's done. He's scared of losing his job, so does not want to be identified.
This is the handheld computer. We use it every day.
Graham is about to show us a trick for issuing fraudulent tickets.
Number 3 is for constant observation. When you press, you have to give 5 minutes constant observation to the vehicle.
But Graham says the trick is to pretend you're observing a car when really you're not.
Then you see a car in contravention. Maybe the guy's just parked for about 30 seconds or a minute. But you just issue an instant ticket.
So by manipulating your handheld computer, you can pretend that you've been looking at this car for 5 minutes when you haven't.
You fool the computer. Some call it the cooking or boiling option.
Graham claims thousands of tickets are being given illegally this way.
If you speak to any CEO about cooking, they know what you mean and they know it's illegal.
And for the driver, it seems unlikely the ticket would be overturned. Is there no way for the driver to prove that they're right and you're wrong?
No.
Wow. Graham told us it's all down to targets and the pressure to issue enough tickets to keep the bosses off your back. He told us it's tough having to hand out dodgy tickets, but others say it's even tougher being on the receiving end. Andy's a butcher in Lambeth. Most days he goes to Smithfield Market to buy his meat, and when he gets back he parks outside to unload. What he's doing is perfectly lawful, but that didn't stop him getting a ticket.
That particular morning we were unloading as normal, and it was only when a passerby notified us that a traffic warden was giving us a ticket. After I explained to him the situation, he apologised and told me that he was new and to challenge the ticket.
Andy followed that advice, but Lambeth rejected his appeal, so he took the matter to the independent adjudicator.
When I saw the paperwork, they said that in the traffic warden's notebook entries, there was no evidence of me unloading. But at the same time, they produced a photograph of me unloading.
Andy is clearly visible at the back of the van, and you can just make out what appears to be the wheel of his trolley.
The adjudicator basically shook his head when he saw this and ruled in my favour.
So, what's going on here? Are councils really prepared to impose unfair tickets just to increase the number of fines and to make more money out of motorists? The law for councils could not be clearer. It's set out here in the Secretary of State's guidance. Performance and rewards or penalties should never be based on the number of parking tickets issued, nor should authorities set targets. Last September, we revealed what some say are ticket targets in Camden and Ealing's parking contracts, a claim denied by both councils. Now we've got hold of more documents from boroughs across the capital. Bromley Council made a whopping £5.7 million profit from parking charges and fines last year, up £1 million on the previous year. Its contract with enforcement company Vinci sets an annual baseline of 72,000 tickets, and for every penalty charge notice over that number, the company gets a performance payment of up to £20 per ticket. Hackney had a parking surplus of £7.9 million, up £2 million from the year before. It employs APCOA, and here traffic wardens are ranked into different bands according to their hourly ticket issue rates. The contract states that no more than 10% of wardens can fall below Band 2. Lambeth, meanwhile, made a stonking £12 million profit, more than double the surplus made 12 months earlier. It employs NSL, which it requires to issue 218,000 tickets per annum, although that figure was subsequently changed to 205,000.
Keith, let's just have a look at these.
We showed these contracts to one of Britain's top commercial litigation lawyers.
This appears to be serial breach of government guidance by a whole series of councils, ostensibly acting independently, but quite clearly, cleverly drafted by lawyers to circumvent the government guidance on the subject.
In your professional legal judgment, what do you think of these contracts?
Disgraceful, unacceptable, arguably unlawful.
Of course, that isn't the way the parking authorities see it. In response to our story, they all pointed out the number of tickets issued is falling. Lambeth Council told us, this is not a target, it's a figure for guidance so NSL can plan the number of staff they'll need. While its contractor said, NSL incurs no penalties for not issuing tickets and nor are there rewards for issuing tickets. Bromley Council told us they never set targets for revenue from parking enforcement income. They also pointed out their contract commenced in 2006, predating the statutory guidance by 2 years, but say the council lawyers remain content with the integrity of the contract. Hackney, on the other hand, insisted that it sets no targets for the issue of penalty charge notices, nor gives the contractor any incentive for its officers to issue more than they feel necessary. Hackney also told us to avoid confusion, a decision has been made to remove this section altogether. So, who's got it right?
We're taking our evidence to the very top. This is the government department that deals with local authorities. So let's see what the minister here thinks of these contracts.
So do these look like dodgy contracts?
These look like entirely the wrong kind of contract to me, motivating and encouraging the staff to go out and penalise people. And they only get paid well if they penalise somebody. That's the wrong way to run the structure.
A court may well view that these contracts are illegal. Do you want that to be tested?
Well, as I say, I think they do seem to be illegal in the sense that it is illegal for a local authority to use parking revenue to supplement its general revenue account. Our lawyers will look at that as well, but I think it would be right to see this tested in law. And if it is then proven, we can actually make sure that councils are not allowed to do this, that it's proven that they're illegal. This kind of behaviour has to stop.
Next, we played the minister the video of our traffic warden showing us how to input false information to give out more tickets.
So you're just pretending you're seeing the car, you don't need to put a vehicle registration number in at this stage?
He's saying that is happening every single day. Drivers are being penalised, I suppose, illegally. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that was completely unacceptable. It's disgraceful behaviour. But it does also go to the point we've just been discussing where people are feeling they're under pressure because the whole structure of how they're being paid, the whole structure of the contract or how the council is operating is encouraging them to issue notices, not make sure people will be able to park, not to make sure they're parking safely, but just to issue more notices. That's wrong and it should stop.
Minister, can I leave you with these contracts and you promise you'll take action?
Absolutely, we'll take these and get straight into them.
Yep, looks like he's off. Yep, the camera's going down. We're off, boys!
These officers have decided the attention's all too much. And while the lawyers decide what steps to take next, these campaigners have their own way of helping motorists avoid tickets.